Yes, that is right, folks. You read that title correctly. I have gotten one of my most favorite singers of all time to do an interview with me. I couldn't be more excited, so without further ado, Hatsune Miku, how are you doing today?
I'm doing so well. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for coming over to the studio and letting me interview you today, because I am such a big fan of you. Like, I love all your songs. I listen to them all the time. I play Project Diva on my Switch very often. I love that game. I got your calendar for 2025 as well. I got you on Fortnite as well. I've actually gotten hooked to Fortnite simply because of you. That is how much of a fan I am of you.
But yet you don't have any of my albums. No, seriously, I'm looking around your room. I see all these CDs and vinyl records. And you don't have one of my albums, not even a single one.
Well, you're gonna have to blame Golden Discs and Tower Records for that one, because they don't stock any of your albums. Like, if they stocked your albums, I'd have a bunch of them already by now.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway, enough of me talking about how much of a fan I am of you. Let's get into the proper interview now. And the first question I have for you today is, how did you actually get into singing?
Well, I was born to be a singer. I've always wanted to sing as long as I can remember. And it's by far the best thing I can do. I'm able to sing all sorts of songs. Pop, rock, metal, rap, dance, drum and bass. You name it, I can sing it.
I can definitely believe that. And even your bio on Crypton's website mentions that you were featured in over 100,000 songs released worldwide. So I suppose my question for you is, do you remember all those songs that you sung over the years?
Honestly, I can't remember them all straight away. There's some amazing songs I've sung over the years, and some terrible ones as well. But the main ones I know are my hits, such as World Is Mine, Freely Tomorrow, Even Polka, and of course, Miku, Miku, Wii.
Well, you couldn't forget that one. I mean, that's a classic there. Speaking actually about your singing, like, what is the highest and lowest note that you can sing?
Well, my highest would be... and my lowest is...
Wow, I wish I had that many octaves in my singing range.
You should help me sing one of your songs if you're that impressed.
Oh, absolutely, we should get round to it. Now, I do have like 2 other songs that I'm working on at the moment that I kind of need to finish and put out beforehand, but once I get those 2 songs out, absolutely, we better work on a song together. Now, getting a little off your singing and actually more about your taste in fashion, because I think you got a really good taste in fashion if you're asking me.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, but my question for you though is, what advice would you give to like people who want to branch out in fashion like yourself? You know, like if they want to wake up one morning and be like, you know, I want to have the same taste in fashion like Hatsune Miku, what would be the advice you'd give?
The main advice I give is to have some color in your outfit, which is something you don't have.
Huh?
I mean, look at you. You're wearing a black shirt, black trousers, black shoes. Who do you think you are, Batman?
Yes, Miku, I'm actually Batman.
Yeah, I won't be okay neither.
Oh well, I tried.
But even if you were, why don't you wear at least one colorful thing?
Okay, I'll wear something colorful. Hang on, give me like 2 minutes, I'll change into something different.
2 hours later.
And voila! Look at that! A bit of color on me. What do you think, Miku?
There you go. That's much better.
Ah, thank you, Miku. I mean, I need to get more color in my outfits anyway. I mean, this is probably the most colorful one I have anyway, but...
Just kidding, it was.
Moving on, you've worked with some other singers in the past, mainly like the Pia Pro singers. So what do they all like to hang out with? Because I believe you're actually friends with most of them, if not all of them.
They're all great in their own way. Rin is like a younger sister, whereas Muko is like an older one. None of the get of the two. Same goes with Kai too and Aiko. When the producer decided to have any of us in together, we accompany each other really well, which like solar bond, even stronger.
Well, that's great to hear that you get on with all of them, especially when you start singing songs and all that. So yeah, that's a great one to hear. Now, moving back on to you and your music and all that, do you have any sort of like future plans, anything upcoming that's coming out in the next few weeks or months?
Yeah, there's a few. Firstly, for you Americans, my movie Iya Miku Who Can Sing is coming out on April 11. Secondly, I have some concerts happening in Japan, starting later this month. And obviously, I'm singing new songs every day. I'm hoping I have another hit soon.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be sooner rather than later, but I would like to actually ask you about the concerts that you do, because last year you did a bunch of concerts in Europe, but you didn't actually have a stop in Ireland, so I would like to ask you, will Miku Expo come to Ireland? Because I think we'd all love that.
I don't know, you have to ask Crypton Future Media about that, but I'd love to go. I heard I was mentioned the Irish Livin just one time.
Yeah, surprisingly, you actually were in the Irish Leaving Cert, but you weren't in mine though. They didn't include you in mine, unfortunately.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I know. But you know what didn't suck? The fact that I had the opportunity today to speak to you in an interview. So you know what? I think we'll end it there. Miku, thank you so much for coming on to the show today. Is there any last things you'd like to say to your adoring fans? And maybe would you like to plug in the old socials?
Not really. Other than you can find me in your Wi-Fi on searching my name, Hatsune Miku, on the web.
Alright, Brill. And you can find me simply on my YouTube channel, Jack Lucas Caffrey. I'm also available on Instagram and Facebook, where I'll be posting highlights of all the interviews I've done and my 2 upcoming songs in the quite near future. So with that, Hatsune Miku, thank you so much for coming on, and...
Happy April Fool!
What?
Bye bye!